Sometimes they just want to talk. This guy followed me around the whole house
I
today.
can't deal with
He
that.
just got to let him talk.
I
Oh, I
can't.
can. I'll teach. What's funny is I was talking to the camera, but I was talking to him at the same time, literally teaching him how this thing
Mm.
works. But I have like a weird condition, vasovagal synops, where I
What is that?
randomly will pass out and go into seizures. Like brain freeze will trigger it. Just random stuff triggers it. And I said, you just gotta, if it's stuck, you just gotta hit it. And I go to hit it, and I didn't notice my hand, and it slammed and took a chunk of my hand right here out. And then I've had another lady corner me behind a washing machine, trying to hook a temporary one up.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Reliable HVACR podcast on YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment. If you guys are listening to this on audio on Spotify or Apple or any of those other platforms, make sure you leave a review. I appreciate all the 5-star reviews, and that really helps us out. Make sure you follow the show too. And we're just, having good conversations with good people. If you are interested in being on the show, I take on any guest. If you want to come on and tell your story, we can talk about your journey through where you got to where you're at now. And I think some people listening can relate to certain stories. So it helps. Just come on, tell your story. Any sponsors that want to come on and help out with the show, there's a few spots left. Email me. All my info is in the description. If you guys want to be a sponsor of the show, any companies that are listening, I would greatly appreciate that. Thank you to all the sponsors that do make this podcast possible, like Jobber, our CRM that we use specifically for our business. A lot of automation, a lot of AI features coming. I can't wait to use that next year and kind of really implement the marketing and everything. So if you guys want a free trial and discount, make sure you check the link in the description or go to getjobber.com/reliable HVACR. Also want to thank VETO Pro Pack for letting me help them design some bags and listening to feedback and getting to work with them. They've been a great supporter and sponsor of the show. Make sure you go check out the best bags money can buy at vetopropack.com. You'll also hear from Local HQ Marketing, DIVERSITECH, and GREE. Thank you again for the sponsors of the show. And a quick plug, make sure you go to reliablehvacr.net if you guys want any merch. We got the In Trades We Trust merch that just dropped. The old stuff that I've always had. If you guys like any of the logos, HVAC Nights is up there too, so make sure you go check that out. Also, we have a Discord, speaking of HVAC Nights, and I'll leave that link down below so you guys can join. We've had a lot of cool conversations, tool talk, tips and tricks. A lot of questions get asked there. So go check out our Discord. It's completely free. You can join and chat with any of us in the group. And make sure you check out HVAC Nights live every Thursday night with Jake, Cooling with Kraus, and Curtis, the HVAC guy. We appreciate all the support on that show as well. On today's episode, we have Matt Rhodes. You can find him on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube under Rhodes Repair Heating and Air. I'll leave all the links down in the description. We talk a lot about his journey in and out of the trades, side hustles, other businesses, which I'll link as many as I can because he does other like a fishing YouTube channel and stuff like that, which I can relate to the side hustle. I've done other things myself other than HVAC, and it's important to do those things. And sometimes you can make money doing other things other than our job here. So I'm gonna let him explain all that fun stuff, a few stories here and there, and enjoy the episode.
Yes, he's running away.
Kids. What are you gonna do? So how are you, man? I know last time we tried talking about this, you were on call. How's the on call life over there?
It sucks. I asked for Christmas off, so he tried to put me on for like 20 days straight, and
Oh,
I don't
okay.
like doing that stuff. I'm getting too old for all that stuff. That's the worst part about the job, I think.
Did
But
you get Christmas off?
yeah,
Okay, so you're gonna be
maybe
off, maybe.
the guy who they put on there is kind of complaining, so we'll see. I said I'd
Uh,
work it, but nothing's going to get done that day.
oh yeah, I understand. Uh, so you mostly do residential, or what kind of work do you do?
Whatever they want me to do.
Or
I've
what kind
done
of
some commercial.
well, I'm sorry, but what kind of company is it? Is it a big company? Do they do a
Yeah,
lot of different things?
they do a lot of new construction. They do a lot of mechanical. They just took on a lot of mechanical stuff for schools and everything. And they do a lot of hot side and restaurant and refrigeration. We do
Oh, okay.
literally everything you can think of. And plumbing, they don't do electrical, but they do
Yeah.
plumbing, which I think it should always be the other way around. I'd rather see electrical than plumbing.
Hey, so some companies go that route, and I've heard actually from a few people recently that they're like, you don't do plumbing, like that's where the money's at, and this and that. And I'm like, I don't know, I'm good. I like just doing the HVAC and some of the electrical. My dad's an electrician, so I usually lean on him for that kind of stuff like that. And we have an electrician we deal with anyway. And
I did some,
I just want to do my own like refrigeration stuff, and that's it.
yeah, I've done some electrical when I was like 15. I've
You have
been
a
doing
background in that?
just like ceiling fans, breaker panels, lights like switches and stuff, just cut in, rough in stuff.
Was that so then did you work for an electrical company or was that
Yeah,
handyman stuff? Electrical?
electrical company. Yeah.
Yeah. So then how long have you been in the HVAC trade or at your current position?
It's as a residential tech since 2013. In my current job now, just a year. But the guys it owns this company and I've worked with, I've known since 2013.
Oh, okay.
So
And then you went over there after a while?
yeah, I worked at a Hilton resort, 2003, like right out of high school. I'm 40, by the way.
Pretty
Old
close
man
in
now.
age.
Yeah,
I feel the same. I'm almost there.
but 2003, I started it's over here at Sandestin Hilton it's a resort, and they don't like the third party or do it. They do everything themselves, and they had like about 5 or 6 chillers, cooling tower, like cold water loops. All the ACs are cold water loops. All the walk-in freezers are cold water loop stuff. So that's what I learned on, and I really liked it, and I enjoyed climbing into the cooling towers and stuff. And then unfortunate like events happened. I actually moved me to IT because I was fixing people's computers when I wasn't supposed to. So they offered me a job, so I did that for a while, like 3 years. And then when that they didn't need me anymore, they kind of kicked me to the curb. And a guy I knew down the street worked at an AC company, and he pulled me in. And I've done service since day one. I've never got to do install or any of that stuff really.
Do you want to do install or anything else or you
Oh,
prefer
I
service?
help out. I help out when I can. Like I will jump in and hands on. I want to know. I'm like, I keep saying it's ADHD, but it's really mechanical mindset. I just want to know how everything works, how everything does. So, but
Oh,
I'm willing to
I
do whatever.
yeah, I just had a conversation on a recording recently and it's like we are talking about like, interests that we had and stuff back in the day and I was like, you know what I liked watching on TV was all those like the shows where they showed you or took you around them. I don't know what it was called. It was like how is it made or something like that. And they would take you around the manufacturing warehouse like how are like certain foods are made and candy and like electronics or whatever it was that they were making in that warehouse. And that's what I found fascinating growing up. That's the kind of cable that I would watch, so, like those channels. And
Yeah,
I've always been into like how things work, taking them apart, putting them back together. Never dawned on me to do HVAC growing up, but like I was always interested in that kind of stuff. And then, once I figured out what HVAC was, I was like, oh, cool. I think I like this. So, I've loved it since I got into it.
I probably would have done anything. I feel like I fell into it and I'm stuck in it, like because it's just
You're in too
natural.
deep.
Yeah,
So
offered me a
then,
job and I've been doing it. And I've actually left it and did a vacation rental company working on giant houses. And I was their AC tech. Plus, I did basic maintenance for 50 properties. And then I left there to go back into HVAC because it wasn't making money like you can make in the HVAC world. So I went back. But
yeah.
I left HVAC when my kid was born because I worked a full year straight on call. I was their only tech in the area. And I was always on call. And I got burnt out real bad. So I
I can
left, and now I'm
imagine.
back. Yeah,
I can imagine. So you just have the one kid?
yeah, just the one.
Okay. I
Been
got two.
married 17 years.
I got two running around right now, but that's a whole other thing. They're very hyper. I got mine are they just turned 9 and 11, and they're creeping into those teenage years, which I feel like come a little quicker nowadays with, all the online stuff and whatever they watch. And, all the I don't know. I can't control their friends at school. Everybody has like
Uh,
phones, everybody has like everything, so
Mine's a
but
little rat. She tells on people. She's in the gifted program. She's a little smarty pants, and I think she's gonna skip teenage and go straight to adulthood.
yeah, I feel bad. My son is more like me. I know you mentioned like ADHD. I don't know if you have that or that's a factor, but like I feel like I've never been diagnosed. I've never thought I had
Yeah,
anything.
self-diagnosis is what I call it.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what it is. I always feel like I have to be doing something. I can't sit still. Maybe that's why I like doing what I do because I'm just traveling, fixing things. And my son, I'm very forgetful. He's very forgetful. He can't sit still. He has issues in class. I did well in school, but I had issues being in class, sitting still. And but our daughter is, she's very good at everything academic wise and all that. Like I said, she's like yours is doing well in school and all that. Like she's doing well. And I'm like, well, she might, you know, get ahead and do something good. And my son, for better or worse, I have a job for him waiting if I need a help or anything. I already told him because he's been asking about money and stuff. I'm like, you can make a lot of money over here. Just come help me in the summer and we'll get you going. This podcast is presented by Local. Local works tirelessly to help HVAC contractors rank higher on Google. They use an attack methodology to make sure that contractors dominate their local service areas and increase their market share and generate higher revenue. Reach out to Local at localhq.com/reliable. Mention me or the Reliable HVACR podcast, and you'll get 2 months of SEO for free.
What's funny is my kid's the bar since she was 2 years old. She wants to be a firefighter, and I've always
Really?
wanted to do that growing up. But I have like a weird condition, vasovagal synops, where I
What is that?
randomly will pass out and go into seizures. Like brain freeze will trigger it. This random stuff triggers it. It's just
Is
your
that
main nerve. It goes through your body.
is that under control or like is it still random?
Uh, it, I wouldn't say random. It just happens. Like if I have a run of fever, like 104, it'll happen. Um, Severe injuries, it'll happen. Just stuff like
So
something trauma to my body. It happens.
or you can kind of tell if it's going to
Yeah.
happen.
Oh yeah.
Is that
I've got
How is that, man? How's that work? How's working with that kind of condition?
knock
Cuz
on wood.
the
It's never happened at work.
cuz I was going to say HVAC trade is like there's danger around every corner,
Mhm.
but
Yeah,
no
I,
issues,
I
not
put a
nothing
hole in
happened.
my hand 2 years ago and somehow didn't pass out, but I was close.
Oh, what happened to your hand?
I was actually 2 years ago. I was working at a golf cart, rebuilding golf carts, just to have something fun to do. And a guy brought a truck in, and I was showing these young guys how to change the suspension. And I said, "You just gotta, if it's stuck, you just gotta hit it." And I go to hit it, and I didn't notice my hand, and it slammed and took a chunk of my hand right here out. But
And yeah,
I
now you
didn't.
have
What I don't cuss at all. And my guy buddy who worked there was like astonished that I wasn't cussing or anything. I was just
Oh.
like, I don't. I was like, this is dripping blood. I'm like, I don't even want to look at it because I'm gonna pass out if I look at it.
So you really are a chill guy. You're
Yeah,
way more chill than I would be. I would be cursing and yelling over there. uh that's crazy. And so then do you think you have a high pain threshold or something like that? Like tolerance?
I would say it's in the blood. I think most Irish people do. They get hit in the head a lot, probably.
Because
I play soccer and stuff too, so I get beat up a lot.
you still play or you played in the past?
I play when I can play. I still play. I coach
Oh,
my
you still?
kid when I can. Yeah, I get out and run around.
Did she pick up that too? So she's doing sports?
She likes soccer, but she only likes to do it when if I'm coaching. So doing that with
Okay.
HVAC sometimes tricky.
I
But
did
she
that
she
back
can
in the
take a ball
day.
to the face.
Oh, she did?
We played kids versus adult, and she got lifted off the ground by the soccer ball like twice, and she's running around.
Oh, she just takes it and she's gets
So
back in there?
she's tough. Yeah,
Really?
she's laying down like right here next to her, so I keep looking when I'm talking to her.
Oh, that reminds me. Oh, because I think it runs in my family. Like, I remember my grandfather being tough as nails. My dad too, right at work. I used to work with him and see him and all that. He's had major injuries like to his back and stuff like that, and he's still out in the field. He had a mild stroke earlier this year, and he's already back in the field. I'm like, dude, like nothing stops him. And me, I go in there and I get hurt. I took a torch to the hand one time. I was like, no, I'm okay. Don't worry about it. Just keep working. We need to get this unit back in. And I'm like, I'll worry about it later. Just bandage it up. And like for better or worse, like the pain tolerance helps, but then it's like I don't want to stop working. I don't check on myself enough. I feel like my kid got that too, because and that's why I say I feel sorry for him because forgetfulness, the ADD, all that stuff, and then the pain tolerance. Because I remember because he has a condition too, so I was interested when you said what you had. It's not what he has, but he deals with seizures and all that stuff too. So I've had to go because I've never had anything. I've never dealt with anything like that. So seeing my son go through it is a whole other thing. The seizures, the episodes, everything like that. His only happens in his sleep, thankfully, and it's just like
That's actually scarier.
it is, but
If you
at
ever go
least
through them, yeah.
is what'd you say?
I said if you ever go through them when you wake up, it's a little scary for the first few minutes,
Oh,
but
okay.
doing it in your sleep is it's kind of that's scary.
See,
Because you wake
it's
up and it's dark and you don't know where you're at.
dude. The first time it happened was with me, and it's a recent thing. So for the past couple of years, seeing doctors and dealing with that and all that. But like the first time it happened, it was well, actually, it happened in. Funny enough, it happened during COVID, and or right when it started, when everything got shut down. He had to stay with me. I had to do the whole homeschool. Did y'all? Oh, she wasn't in school yet, right? When that happened, your daughter.
When what happened? When my stuff?
In when no, in 2020 when the school shut down and everything,
Nope. She's
because she
only in
was
first grade.
first grade. Yeah, because my son had, I think he was in kinder when that happened. I had to homeschool him, which I don't even like doing class myself, and I had to do that with him. And then one time it happened when we were like waking up. He had his episode. I was like, what the hell's going on? And you know, it's a crazy thing to see. But it's like a good and a bad thing. Like we know it's only when he sleeps. It's they keep telling us the same thing. Like make sure he's not stressed, make sure he gets sleep and rest and like whatever, you know, they have a list of things. And it's like a good and a bad thing because I know it won't happen during the day for some reason. Like it doesn't happen when he's awake. It's only when he's asleep. So like he doesn't even like, and you can tell when it happens because it takes a lot out of you or something, right? Because like when he has it, he just wants to
Yeah,
sleep
you
the
wake
whole
up
day.
soaking wet. You'll be waking up in sweat and
And
not
he just
knowing
wants
where
to
you're at.
sleep
Like
the
you're
whole
throwing
day,
in for a little
and
bit.
they told us that's normal. Yeah,
I mean, sometimes I'm like that, but I
like
don't think that's
groggy.
because of that stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got. I'm like a young man with old man issues. I got lots of issues going on, but I got bit by a tick in July, and that sore hasn't went away, so I have to go get it checked out.
I feel the same. I don't know if it's the trades. I don't know if it's just getting old. Like I don't
I
heal the
think you get
way
old faster in the trade.
I don't heal the way I used to. That's a good point. I used to feel invincible at work. Like when I first started, because I started in my early 20s, and then like now I'm like I think twice about doing something sketchy roofs or getting in a tight space. I think twice about it, and then like if I do something heavy lifting or anything like that, I feel it for like a couple weeks.
I've thrown my back out twice, and it was never heavy lifting. It was reaching down to grab my torches or something, and it just gets thrown out.
Well, the last time I threw mine out was trying to show off, not show off, but like my brother was arguing with me about a compressor, and I was like, I'll just do it myself. I lifted that thing. I did lift it and put it in place myself and everything. I felt fine until later that night. And the next day, I was like, dude, I can't. I was like, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not doing any of the lifting anymore.
Yeah, back in the day before we had all these cool contraptions, I used to have a rope over the side of a roof and be pulling up those giant train orange compressors by doing it all by myself.
We are those like those egg shaped ones?
Well, the commercial ones weren't egg
Or
shaped, the residentials were. The commercial ones were, they still had the lock rotor, the lock
yes.
nuts, but
The one
they're,
time I asked, and I was so upset that we got it on the roof. I asked for a special compressor and I gave him all the information. It was variable speed compressor, and it was like a scroll compressor at that, right? Like a black compressor. They look the same. And I opened we got the compressor on the roof. Nobody checked the box. And I was like, and I feel like every time that happens, it's the wrong part. We get it on the
always
roof,
have.
and we get it on the roof, and we're all like, man, that was heavy, right? We're two of us trying to rope it up. And I was like, yeah, that felt a little heavier than usual, right? Because even a scroll compressor, I was like, those we deal with all the time. Open that damn box up, and it's one of those orange egg shaped compressors. I was like, dude, no wonder. And it's like, this is not going to fit. They gave us the wrong damn compressor. So that was the only time I dealt with one, and it was because we got the wrong part.
To tell you the truth, those were the best compressors I think trains had in a long time.
Yeah, I've
They
seen
just,
people work on
the
them.
rotor thing just sucked. Yeah.
Oh, the
I
rotor
think
wise,
they
yeah.
should go back to the rotos with the new A2L refrigerant. So you ain't
That's
got to
true.
braze at the compressor.
That's true. Everybody's worried about their unit blowing up.
Yeah, I just went to a class and I asked the guy, "Can you put it on a vacuum instead of nitrogen when you're brazing?" And he said, "Yes, but you didn't hear that from me."
I also want to thank DiversiTech. They simplify your work. They have everything a contractor needs to complete a job. That goes from equipment mounting, condensate, management, tools, maintenance chemicals, electrical components, indoor air quality, and much more. They have different branches under the same umbrella. More than likely, you're already using some of their products or tools. So go check out diversitech.com, and it's your one-stop shop for everything HVAC. And so no schooling, right? Because you said you got into
No
something
schooling.
after high
Yeah,
school. You just went
learned.
to
I learned
work.
it all. Yeah, I learned it all on the go.
What's did you have a good mentor, or like what was the way that you learned the most?
I Google.
Oh, you searched.
Back in the day, like I the whole ADHD mechanical mindset. When I first started, they threw me to the sharks. I was like rode around with a guy for like 2 weeks, and I still remember his name. His name was Gary, and he was an awesome guy. I think he teaches here at the school now. But he's like he's good to go, and they threw me out on my own van after like 2 weeks when I felt like I needed way more training.
So you
Completely
had
green. So every time I didn't know something, I would go home and do as much research that day on something I felt like I needed to know, and I learned everything on my own just doing research when I got home.
so that was 2 weeks of on the job training, and then you got a van.
Yeah, threw me
um,
to the wolves.
yeah, and when you say back in the day, like yeah, I tell people it's hard to find, or it was hard to find things at that time. You really had to do some research to find information, like in the early 2000s and stuff like that. Because, or even like a little bit later, because I started.
You didn't have these phones. You had to go home on your computer, and you had to like do it
Oh,
all
I
on the
know. I was gonna
computer.
say I had to get to like a laptop or a computer or something. Because forget I had what was it, the iPhone when it came out, right? That was like the first one. You couldn't do crap on it, right? Like
Yeah.
you would try to use Google, some stuff would load, some stuff wouldn't. If you tried to download a manual, the internet was shit. Like you couldn't do anything. So yeah, you had to run back. And I just talked with Jake, Blue Collar Built, because that came up, and he's like, yeah, we got to do that. See you tomorrow. We'll be back later. Go do our research and then come back, because there was no Google on the phone or anything like that, or good enough Google. And yeah, I was like, just be honest with the customer. I got to be back, do my research. I got to look up something. I've done that before, and it sucks. But I mean, my dad had that mentality, and he taught me like if you don't know it, figure it out, and that could mean
Mhm.
figure it out on the spot. I've done that plenty of times. Test everything, see what's going on, or go home and find the answer.
And let your mind work. Figure it out. I 9 times out of 10 I'd get it right. I don't know how, but I would. But I did a train. I was a training or something, and I asked him personally, and he says he gets so many calls from new people, and literally all they had to do was Google it, and instead they just call him, just because out of instinct they just call somebody for an answer.
Dude, I did that meme with it's some gamer kid, and he's like, "Stop asking stupid questions, just Google it."
Yeah,
And
I see that.
I got so much shit for it, and I'm like, but 90% of the stuff you can Google and find. Like, I'm just
Yeah,
joking, but like honestly, like everything's online now. You don't have to ask or call tech support, which I used to be afraid of, because then they used to, I don't know how they are now. I think they're nicer now, but like back in the day, they would hang up on you, or they would say something because you didn't have the right information for them and ready, and they just go on to the next call. And I remember getting scared, and I'm like, okay, I need to have everything, in front of me when I call them, because they don't like their time wasted either.
yeah. It's a different ball game now. Number one tool is that phone. If you forget it, then you're gonna have to go back and get it.
It's funny because like I've done, and I've talked about like top tools to have or whatever it is, and I mean, you don't think about it, but your phone is probably your most important one, like you said. Because I have apps. I'm sure you do too, like for manuals. For I even have a PT chart on my phone because I deal with so many, and I got to figure it out on the spot. So my phone has like a folder full of like apps where I can look up parts. I can do the what do you call it, the PT chart, like all these little tools in there, and I'm constantly using my phone at work.
You'll learn to save those PT charts because half the time on rooftop units they'll be gone off the unit and not there.
Oh
So
yeah,
usually stuck on there, they'll just be faded or just not there anymore.
I
They're so
remember.
old.
I used to carry like the physical ones in my back pocket, and I used to try and collect as many as I could, because like if you got it wet or you lost it or whatever, you were screwed, because like you couldn't get it online.
Well, I mean, back in the day, it was just beer can cold,
Yeah,
good to go.
and for the most part, I've mentioned that HVAC is, or it used to be, more forgiving. You could charge it up close enough, and it would work fine for 20 years, whatever it was. And not so much anymore. I mean, it's very specific now, and it's a little harder
You
to
could
do that.
you could actually dump 410 and some R22 and still run.
That's what I think. That's what Curtis said, and somebody else in my
Yeah,
comments was like, "You
I've
can."
done it a long time ago on accident, and it ran for I don't even know how long.
Well, that's what I mean. They don't make them like they used to, because I think I got that comment, and they're like, I forgot what they said, but they're like, I don't know where I saw it or where they heard it, but if if you put the 410A in an old R22, he's like, it'll work. It'll get you by. I'm like, okay. Um, but yeah, now you can't do that too much. And today's episode is also brought to you by GREE Comfort. I have heard nothing but high regards for GREE themselves. GREE offers not only just ductless mini splits that you might know them for, whether it's single zone or multi zone. GREE has the GREE Flex and the Multi Pro for whole home and building cooling, so you guys can actually get systems, for your house and stuff like that. They always have updated system documentation and live video trainings for contractors. They help you with your installations and make it as seamless as possible. You can follow them on Instagram and YouTube at GREE Comfort, and you'll get access to all their educational video content. I'll leave that linked below. Have you worked on anything as far as like R32, 454, anything like that?
No, I haven't. I haven't worked on any of that yet.
I talked to a guy that
But
did that up north. I was like, man, it's probably going to be a while for me to see it, because I work on a lot of older equipment. I don't put in, or we do, installs and stuff like that, but we do more service where it's like a lot of, I'm gonna probably see 410A for a long time.
You're not near the Gulf or anything over there in
Um,
Texas.
I'm an hour away from the beach here, an hour and a half.
I'm like I'm like a mile right here from the Gulf, and it's they don't last for like 5 years maybe.
Oh
If they're right
yeah,
on the water,
dude,
yeah. So
we
I'll be
just
seeing them soon enough.
well, that's true. I was like, we have one. I think we only have one customer over there right now. We used to go over there more often in the past, but we literally put one in. I don't know if it was like 5 years ago or something like that. It probably needs to be replaced already. But uh, do you guys offer like the coding and everything for that?
Uh, Offering's kind of weird. I offer all that stuff all the time, but a lot of people don't. They just don't. People, I guess these new techs and a lot of people are scared to offer things to
Like
people. They just want to fix
services
it and
and
leave.
yeah.
Yeah, any kind of upselling, and I was like, it's not upselling; it's stuff they need. Like
Oh,
you
believe
offer,
me, they need that because
like
I had one, but it was a walk-in cooler. So we did the condenser, and I was like, I'm gonna include it in the quote. Like I want to
mhm.
spray it and do the coil coating and all that. Um, oh, and we did a residential unit there too. Well, it's for a commercial building, but a split system, and we sprayed them. Those look mint, right? They're pretty good. There's some rust spots here and there, but that those units look mint, and those are older. The one that I was talking about, those are RTUs or trains. Now they buy their own equipment because it's commercial and it's a whole thing. They wanted us to install them, get the old one off, install the new one. I think we did like two there. And they're like, no, 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 don't worry about it. We got a company that does coil coating and they're gonna do it, or I don't know if Train offered. I forgot how it worked. And they did, but they didn't spray enough. It's already rusting out really bad. And the thing over there is like it's not just the coil either. I mean, I didn't think about it before either, but all the panels, there's like weak points that end up rusting. So we've had some where the compressor falls through the compartment, like the floor, and the unit's no good anymore because the whole floor is gone. It's all rusted out.
When it rains, it pours too inside the building.
Oh yeah, they've had that. We had to tarp off two of the units before we, because those were the ones where we replaced, where the compressors fell in basically, and then the panels around the outside, the bottoms rusted out, so they fell. And yeah, sure enough, it rained inside, so we had to go over there before they ordered them and tarp everything off.
They don't last long, and it's hard. We get a lot of northern people buying $1 million homes down here, and they don't understand what the salt in the air does to everything. And they're
Everything.
wondering why their system's breaking 2 years. Why does it look like this in 2 years? Like, go 30 miles north and you don't have to worry about it.
It's crazy. When I first started, we had customers over there too. Like I was like, I didn't know that happened within like a couple years. Like it starts right away, and they're just constantly having to change them out. I mean, that's something you have to deal with over there.
I've noticed in residential, it's all about airflow nowadays with the new systems. And I notice if the airflow's off, they get, you're not allowed to say the N word, biological growth inside the unit within the first 3 years. So when I'm seeing it in the first 3 years, I start checking everything, ductwork, and telling them how to fix it. Because a UV light it helps, but it doesn't
It
stop the mold.
No,
Yeah,
no, it helps wherever you put it. If you're trying to keep
it helps
like the coil clean, the drain clean, whatever it
or it
is.
keeps the air going past it a little clean, but in the unit, no.
No,
So if
because
that
they
bulb goes out, yeah,
well they because I did talk to DiverSitech about it because I was skeptical on it. Not gonna lie, and I got a better understanding of it because some people think they put it in and they're set. Everything like it's a miracle worker. Everything goes away, and all the problems are solved. But like you said, it's just the air passing through. It doesn't do anything to any of the other part of the system, and I didn't know that you had to replace them like in a certain, like they have a lifespan. So if you have
Yeah,
a
like 2 years for the bulbs.
yeah, I was like, if you have a UV light from like 5 years ago, it's probably not doing anything anymore unless you got it changed.
And if you pull them out, if the bulb's been gone for a while, dude, it's caked on it. Like when you pull them out, you can
Oh,
tell it's
really?
been burnt out for a while. Yeah, it's like it
Oh,
because that metal condensates or whatever on the device itself.
so you've been in and out of HVAC. Are you like a tinker? Like, do you like to work on a lot of stuff outside of work? Just
Uh,
based on like the different jobs that you mentioned.
I don't. What's funny is I don't like to do HVAC side work, but I end up doing it. I like to do other things. I actually have a side business where I turn deer heads into European mounts, and I do that in my backyard when I have time after work. I'll stay up late at night doing that.
Oh, okay. Same problem here. I stay up late with my hobbies. What's a
And
European mount?
video games, Call of Duty. I don't have one in here. My wife doesn't like the heads inside the house.
Is it just
It's
what
like when you
you?
see the deer skull and the horns, the
Okay.
skull itself
Oh,
and
the
the horns.
skulls.
That's a European mount. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I got you. Uh, so that's a business all in itself. You sell that stuff and all that.
Yeah, I do it in my backyard when I'm not busy at work.
Is that locally or do you sell online or anything?
No, it's just local. Just the local hunters. They'll bring deer from all over, and they'll bring it to me. Whoever's local. And in my area, there's nobody who does it. There's
Oh,
someone's like really far this way or this way where there's a lot of hunting. There's not a ton of hunting down here on the beach. There's one area, just a few hundred or whatever hundred, a few hundred. That's still a lot, but it's not a lot. But so I don't. I get a lot of business, but I don't get a ton. I did, and I'm talking. I'm thinking I made a ton of money last winter on it. It was insane. I didn't think I was going to get that busy. This year it's been off and on. I've actually had one deer from Florida, and the rest have been out of state, like Missouri and everything else.
like they come down and then they hunt and then
They
they
live
go to you.
here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they live here, and they go on hunting trips and they bring it back.
Oh, I got you. So that's a sounds like a good business too.
It
Is
does. I like doing it. It's fun.
oh, okay.
So it's not really a business to me. It's just a hobby. But it's fun. Like I haven't started a YouTube channel on it. I don't want to do a YouTube channel. It's gross. Still, it's pretty gross.
You might not be able to put it on there.
But
um,
I do have one. I've had a YouTube for years where I hunt and fish, and I've actually had sponsors for fishing. And my
okay.
wife works from home. I'm like in her office. I get half this office, but she works from home for a fishing company for years. So I got her that job. So it's been YouTube actually as it works. You just got
Hey,
to do it right.
well, as long as well, I get that question a lot. Like if you enjoy it, because you're honestly you don't do it for the money when you start anything like that. It's always a hobby or something for fun, and I like to think about it as a business. So like what I do in my stuff in my space, I mean, I live by that Joker quote from the Batman movie. If you're good at something, just never do it for free. If you have a hobby and you like to do it enough, you can always make money doing that. I've had plenty of side businesses myself. My mom always made fun of me, and she's like, You're like a wheeler dealer." I don't know what like nickname she had for me, because I always had something to do as a hobby, and I'm like, "Hey, if you guys want to buy this, I can do it for you too." Right before the HVAC thing, I used to fix phones and laptops and things like that, just because I like to mess with things. And then my family got wind of that, and I started fixing everybody's like tablets and phones. And I was like, okay, I'll post it on Facebook. And then I made a ton of money doing that on the side, just because I like to, open up electronics. And that was pretty
Yeah.
good too, because everybody broke their screens.
It's hard to keep up with hobbies though in HVAC. I feel like I haven't fished that much since I've had my kid because between her, she's kind of taking up that space. But
Uh,
I did get to
I
go fishing last weekend, and I posted that video on my other channel. That's pretty
oh,
fun.
okay. See, that's what I have been trying to do myself. It's like I've been work, 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 and any of these other hobbies, podcasts or anything like that is work too. I need to try to make time for myself and do stuff that I just enjoy, like stuff that I'm not recording or posting or anything like that. So like the past, I don't know, this year, I've been trying to be better about that and make time for yourself, which yeah, the episode's not out yet. I talked with somebody about that a lot, and it's like, it's not being selfish. You need some time to decompress. You said you played video games too. Is that your other hobby there?
Oh, but kinda. It's my decompression thing too. I've been done it forever. Like it's all growing up. I've always played video games, and then we would always have Halo tournaments. I worked at a movie gallery. I don't know if you remember movie gallery or not. If they had that in
Sounds
Texas,
familiar.
it was a
Well,
lot
no.
like Blockbuster. We were
Oh, okay.
movie rental place.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
worked at
Oh,
that too, and
my,
but
I feel so weird because
go ahead.
nobody knows what Blockbuster is anymore.
Yeah, I think there's
Uh,
still one that exists somewhere.
I've heard that, and I think they were making a movie or TV show about it too. But no, it's funny because I used to play games a lot too, and we would do little tournaments for different games and stuff like that growing up. And I had a friend because I don't think we had the one you were talking about, but we had a Hollywood video, and it was
Yep, we had one of those.
what was the thing connected to it? Game Crazy. My friend used to work at the Game Crazy. That was like the GameStop that they had, and he's a good. I'm still friends with him. He's a good salesman. I always told him I'm not falling for your BS, but you're good at that. He sold everything he needed to make his quota and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I remember playing a lot of video games. I try to get back into that, but my kids always come and like want to play, and then like I gotta hand over the controller and all that. So
That's why you got to get other stuff for your kid. She's got VR. She's got Nintendo. She's got stuff to keep her. She actually stays on her tablet. She plays a lot of educational games. We have her own. It's probably why
oh,
she's
it's
too
good.
smart. But she stays on her tablet a lot doing the education. Right now, she's actually writing in her diary. That's what she's doing down on the floor. But I don't play game. I decompress, dude. I get
Yeah,
on there and I probably suck, but I have a blast at doing
yeah.
it. And everybody I play with thinks I should be streaming because I do the most randomest stuff and it's hilarious. And sometimes it works out.
I've actually thought about that because I was like, oh, that's like I like so. I used to play video games. I'm trying to get back into it now. I bought a few games and I was like, let's see if I can make some time for it because you got to do something else besides work because it'll drive you nuts, right? And and I thought about that too, and I was like, wait, I don't want this to be like a job, so I don't want to stream or do anything like that. Plus, I probably am the worst like at everything. I don't want to put that on the internet, so I'm good.
Yeah. I just want to stream so I can get Mr. Beast to give me some free money.
I know, right? Oh, yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
gonna say. I stopped playing video games, and then my son got me into YouTube actually, like to watch, and I started following a lot of gamers, and that was kind of like my outlet. I was like, I don't have the patience, I don't have the time, but I'll watch somebody like beat a game or do whatever they're doing. And some of them are funny, and entertaining. And that's how I got my video game fix for a while was just watching like YouTubers and gamers and stuff. It's interesting. It's funny. You can make a lot of money doing that too. I kind of suck at these games, so like let me watch somebody actually good at it. Um, and there was one like I bought them a Nintendo Switch. They don't freaking use it. I was like I'm gonna start using it. Um, what was the game that I bought? Have you heard of Cuphead?
Yeah,
Have you
but I
played that
haven't
one?
played it. No,
Dude,
I haven't
it's
played that one.
freaking difficult. I had a hard time with it.
Nintendo ain't got that many great games. Super Smash Brothers and basic stuff like that. I'll play.
Yeah, my girlfriend was just talking about that because we're like looking into Christmas gifts, and she's like, Nintendo doesn't even have any like games, like good games. I'm like, yeah, it's true. It's like everybody plays Mario Party, I guess.
There's this one you can play where you're Mario and Luigi, and one of the characters is gonna have to pick up the other and carry it around, and that's the game I play with my kid all the time. I just pick her up and carry her through the whole level so
Hey,
she can play with me.
yeah, that's one way to do it. I know like our daughter likes to play games, um, and we'll play together, but like she dies all the time. I'm like, I'm sorry, like I can't. can't do too much for you, but she really wants to play, so we play, and it just takes a long time. So that other YouTube channel you have, it's for hunting, you said, right?
Yeah, just outdoor stuff, just whatever.
And
And
you
if I
just
feel like filming, it's really if I feel like filming it, I'll put it on there.
and then
It's just whatever.
that got traction on its own. You said you got sponsored and stuff like that.
It actually spiked. I think got a lot of traction. It's only got like 3,000 or something subscribers, and I've been doing it for a very long time. But
Sometimes, sometimes they don't. I mean, you can't. We can't all be like Mr. Beast or anything.
yeah, well, I stopped posting. I used to post twice a week. I would do everything I could do, just outdoor related reviews and stuff. And I kind of stopped posting, and I kind of focus more at hunting now than anything. I just go out and film something if it happens, and just for memory's sake. That's how
Yeah,
I started it, and then the sponsors started getting a little pushy. I would say it made me feel like I didn't want to do stuff. Made me do stuff I didn't want to do, and
yeah,
that's when I just took a step back. I was like, I'm just going to go back to my roots and just do it for memory's sake. And if I make money, I make money. If not, then at least I have it for memories. My kid can watch, and grandkids can
yeah.
watch it,
Oh,
and
I know,
everything.
because that lives forever.
I can't. The worst thing about HVAC, I think, and a lot of people say, "Oh, I get used to driving." I hate driving. Like if you drive into my area, bumper to bumper, people are idiots and they hit each other, and I get bored. So I have to I'll listen to a podcast or something while I'm driving. Literally, as soon as I pull out of the driveway, I'm hitting play on a podcast.
There you go. And there's plenty of good ones out there.
Yeah,
Do you have a? Are you binging any or have a favorite one? Because there's a few that I
it's
like to listen
okay.
to.
I'll bounce around and listen to a lot, but my favorite is what's funny is it's a true crime. It's Murder with My
That's a
Husband.
common one. Yeah, I've heard that a
They
lot.
do a
My
great.
girlfriend is into all that true crime stuff.
Tell her to tune in to Murder with My Husband. It's great because the woman talks about all this true crime stuff, and the guy does nothing to do with it. He wants nothing to do with it. So she's telling the story to him, and he reacts in the funniest ways. It's
Oh,
pretty funny.
okay, that's like a twist on that. Okay, I watch a lot of sports ones and stuff like nostalgia stuff, and then I listen to a few HVAC ones. And yeah, it's a good way to pass the time because I drive, but I enjoy it. I know, I guess because you do residential, you'd rather be close to your calls and just get there and work. As a commercial guy, I like my windshield time. I drive an hour, 2 hours to a call sometimes.
That's your air conditioning time because a lot of people say you work in AC, you work in air conditioning all day long. Like, no, we work in broken air conditioning all day long.
Yeah, if I get to work indoors, it's either hot in the building or in the walk-in, whatever it is, or it's freezing because I work in freezers a lot. So it's one or the other. It's never just comfortable.
I like when they ask me we want to go into maintenance. I always say yes because I would love to work in some air conditioning for a little while.
Oh, oh yeah, maintenance. Like the unit is working, so you're good there. uh,
Yeah.
so you don't mind doing maintenance because some guys will avoid it at all costs.
No, I actually prefer like when I sign people up for maintenance. I'm a true believer in maintenance, but I think there's a right way to do it. I feel like maintenance is all about cleaning the unit. You already know it's running when you get there,
Yeah,
so just cleaning it to make it run longer, and then checking the other stuff. You get a lot of these maintenance guys who hate it. They cut corners and they'll just check amp draws and leave, and it's just
or
that's
just
not what. Yeah.
hose down the coil and leave.
hmm They see,
uh,
but what's funny is homeowners will see me hanging upside down of a condenser getting leaves and stuff out. And then
mm,
they'll always say that you've done more than I've seen any person ever do. And they always tip me. I get tips all the time.
oh, you do. That's a good,
Yeah.
and I mean you're providing top service for that, and
Mhm.
they because that's the hardest part is to show the customer like that they got their money's worth, right? Like that if they see you doing extra things that somebody else didn't do, or you make that unit because a lot of people do the minimum, but if you clean it, get all the leaves out, polish that thing up, wipe it down a little bit, then they notice like, oh, it's a big difference. That's when they're happy. And I mean, I don't deal with residential, but I hear the tips are pretty good sometimes.
Yeah, I get tips all the time. I just what's funny is the tip money I get, I don't spend it. I just throw it into my kid's piggy bank. So she's probably got a wad of cash right now.
Oh, there you go. That's a good way to do it.
I want, if I do start making money off YouTube, what I make, I really want to do like some kind of fundraiser, because you get a lot of elderly people or single moms or other people just can't afford the AC and they need it, like with infants and stuff. So I'm going to I want to build something so it helps all those people out. So if I show up and it's a capacitor, I'll be like, don't worry about it. We'll get you going.
Mm, yeah, man. You've been doing it for like a few months now, right? On the YouTube channel, HVAC.
Yeah, and not long at all.
Okay, because I
I've
was
been
gonna say, I
really
mean, it does take
surprised.
some time. Yeah. So then, as far as like, well, a lot of happy customers, on your end, if you're getting all the tips and everything, have you ever had to deal with any crazy customers or anything?
Yeah,
Does anything
yeah.
come to
It's
mind?
hard. It's hard to think of some. I've had one lady come out and yell at me, and I just let her yell. And I looked at her and I said, "Well, do you want your AC fixed or not?" And then she literally started apologizing instantly. Like that's my only response. And then
Mm,
I've had another lady corner me when I worked at 360 Blue and I was on one of my properties behind a washing machine trying to hook a temporary one up. Out of nowhere, cornered me and started yelling at me. And I was like, I have no clue. Like, I'm just doing what the work order said to do. I don't know what's going on here.
and
But what I make them feel bad, and they usually end up tipping me or signing up for maintenance. So they send me to all the irate ones, anyways.
oh, you're the what do you call it? Diffuser, right? Like
Yeah,
you're the guy that they want to send if there's a if there's an issue.
and if it's a high price repair, they'll send me instead of someone else to collect the money,
Mm.
because people, I my collection is like, I guess percentage wise is high, because I literally, and I don't do much. I just say this repair is gonna be $5,000, and they're like, okay. I'm like, I don't see
That
why it's so hard.
that reminds me of Rich from Commercial Kitchen Chronicles, or Rich. He goes by Rich in Kitchens, and he's very opinionated in like talking to him just in passing, but like at his job, he's the diffuser. He's the one that will talk to the customer, and deal with it, and always gets he gets an angry customer and turns him into like, oh, he's getting requested by that customer every time now. So like it's how you handle yourself, because and I had to learn that real quick. I'm not a hothead or anything. I'm super laid back as well, but like some of the stuff you deal with at work, they're yelling at you or calling you something, or upset about something. You just can't give in to a yelling match or say anything back or being rude. It's never going to work out for you. But if you can defuse it or stay calm and kind of just talk them through it, you'd be surprised with the outcome of it. It completely goes like a 180, and they could be upset and then they could be super happy with you.
Most And you'll find out most people, they just want their stuff fixed. Like I
I
went
mean,
to one literally
that's
today.
why they're upset. Yeah.
Yeah, I went to one today. He had a high power bill and he was really upset, and I know why. When you hear these high power bills like $400 or something for a little bitty tiny home, it's like crazy. But I show up to this house and he was already mad. And I asked him who was here, and he was another company that was there before me. And they bypassed the defrost board to where even in heat mode it runs in cool mode. So he had cool mode running and his heat strips running at the same time, and that's why his power bill was high. But when I got there, he was mad. He was mad at the world. You can't
Yeah.
really hear it on the video because I cut a lot. I don't do like Kurt. I cut a lot of the stuff out that no one
Oh,
really needs to hear or see. Um, but
that's all the good stuff, man.
I know, but I don't want to like. I'm not gonna put people out there like that, so I don't do that.
Yeah.
But I cut him out, and I was talking to him for a little while, and I diffused it, and just by just walking through how everything works, and then he knew that I was knowledgeable, and he knew this stuff was going to be fixed at the end
Mm.
of the the service, and it's like, and then now he's like signed up for maintenance, and he wants me every time to come out.
Well, there you go. That's
Like,
what I was
all right,
talking about. You'll end up being requested, and you earn that customer, right? Like they want you there. They want everything from you, and that's what I had to learn because every time somebody told me something, I wanted to tell them something right back, and it just took a while.
sometimes you just gotta let them talk,
Yeah,
and then
that's
you don't even
true.
have to say much. Sometimes they just want to talk. This guy followed me around the whole house
I
today.
can't deal with
You
that.
just gotta let them talk.
I
Oh, I
can't.
can. I'll teach. I'll. What's funny is I was talking to the camera, but I was talking to him at the same time, literally teaching him how this thing
Mm,
works.
I can't. I've heard of that. I don't know if you've seen Wolf of HVAC. I think he was on TikTok, where he started, and he had one where they were like an old man following him the whole time, changing out a blower motor to clean it. He was pulling it to clean it, and the whole time the guy's like, I don't know what you're doing, and why is my unit in pieces, and I sure hope you know what you're doing. Like, what are we doing here? And at the end of the video, like he kept quiet the whole time. At the end of the video, he's like, yeah, like it's gonna work. Don't worry. And the guy was like, I can't believe you did all that. You did such a great job, and I don't know what. And I was like, damn, would not have had the patience.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta let them work through it on their own.
That's
But
exactly
yeah,
like what I thought when I saw that video. I'm like, this dude went through all these emotions, and it resolved itself.
yeah, I get that a lot, but I do the same stuff. I invite them along. I'm not in the selling game. I don't make commission or anything really. I get paid by the hour because I do a lot of commercial stuff too. But I will bring them along because as soon as you open an air handler and they see all that growth and stuff, stuff sells itself. They're like,
Yep.
"What is that?" And then you talk to them. They're like, "Yeah." So it's good to invite them along.
I used to do that, but I'm on rooftops. I think I only had like one or two actually follow me up
Might
on the rooftop.
be a safety issue if they follow you up there.
That's all I've known, restaurant work, commercial work. So I was like, if you don't believe me,
Oh,
we can go up, up 30 feet and you can check it out yourself.
well, that's another reason why phones are so handy nowadays too. I'll show them a video clip that I recorded or photos.
Yeah, I use a lot of the
Proof.
like location tag and all that, like on the photos. So if I need to go back and look for something, I just go at the map and look at the location. I look at
That's
everything
smart.
now. I look at everything now on my phone because there's another one like I know some people recommended the company cam. I
Hmm.
was gonna look into it, but I know it's a little pricey, and I think you gotta pay per tech or something.
Speaking of other company situation, I almost wanted to invent an app not too long ago. It's like Uber where you do the 5-star ratings, but both ways. Like a customer can leave a rating for the tech or the
Yeah,
company, and then you can also leave a rating for that customer. So if any other company it pops up and sees the customer is just really hard to deal with, you can be like pass, and then another company has to deal
that
with them.
I wish we could implement something like that because um I mean I've seen it in internally, right? You leave notes in your whatever software you use, like for like certain customers that are difficult, you might leave a note for like the next tech or whatever it is.
Mhm.
But yeah, like if we could review our customers, that'd be great because right now it's all like word of mouth. So like I had some recently. We were talking at the supply house, and my dad talked to somebody, and somebody wanted to use us. It was a restaurant, and somebody else was like, "Hey, we just did work there, and they haven't paid us in so long." And they started telling us all about like the problems, and then we're like, "Oh, I guess we'll pass." Like it had to be through word of mouth, but like a star
This
review system would be nice.
The issue is getting companies to all get together though and do that. No one's going to want to help each other out.
Play nice. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that time I appreciated, but it's because we knew the guys from previous jobs. Like I appreciated the heads up, like, oh, it's a bad customer. So I mean, it's a good idea there.
Yeah. And then invent a sticker or label all the manufacturers have to print out inside the panel or something. Where if you ever do a major repair or you replace a part, you write it down on company. or a date. So then other people show up. They know that, oh, someone's worked on this thing. I mean, usually you can tell by the solder
Yeah.
joints that someone's worked on it,
Oh
but
yeah.
it's just nice to know who. You can call them up. You can be like, hey, what'd you do here?
That's one thing that I do look for when I get to especially like a new customer, but even now there's like one that we do a lot of locations for and they call several companies. So when I get out there, I do a whole visual first on anything I touch because I want to know if somebody else worked on it. Now, sometimes the customer will tell me, and sometimes they'll act dumb. They'll be like, "No, nobody was here, whatever." And then I'm like, "Okay, but that has a new TXV or it has a new dryer or something, something's not OEM." I'm like, I can tell somebody was here, but I've been trying to be better because I know some guys will do the whole essay in the panel, like what they did, all the pressures that they did, and like I'm really bad about it. I've been trying to label more things like repaired this on this date or whatever, but yeah, it'd be better if we just all did more of that and we had a history because that's always 'cause I had a video recently where I had to explain like the worst thing about a new customer is like you don't know the history. And then you're chasing your tail on something that has already been like messed with or they did something wrong or whatever it was. Um but yeah, a history log would be nice. That was going to be one of my questions. So those books there you're planning to be licensed but just in case.
Yeah.
So there's no dead set plans on anything for
Well,
that.
my business name and stuff is going to be my YouTube Rhodes Repair Heating and Air or something basic. But no, I just want to have it because there's a lot of loopholes, I would say, in Florida. You have to have a license and insured and stuff. So I still need to make some kind of workup to pay for that if I want to do it. And you have to have that to have your license. But that's
Oh, that's
about it.
true.
I mean, my credit score and everything, I ain't worried about that.
Yeah.
I got a good credit.
No, I mean, some people like I got mine because my dad started a business, and then I came in, did HVAC, and I got my license right away because I just wanted to get it over with. And some people do it to get in business. Some people get it just to have a leg up, right? You have an advantage, or it's there just in case you need it, and it's always good. Kudos to you for doing it now. I would not be able to get in the books right now. Like I get distracted too
It's
easily.
it's been very hard. I try to do at least one or two books a night. Like I'm doing like some kind of class online, so you can go through and just go through a couple books, and it kind of scans through stuff. But there's everything I'm going over. It has nothing to even do with what I actually do now. It's like all crazy stuff, like boilers
Well,
and crazy northern stuff.
yeah, I was gonna say I think mine was similar. Like I'm in Texas, we don't see any of that, and it's funny because I did a video just explaining like what books I had and kind of how I got mine, and I'm like, I mean, keep in mind it's Texas, every state's different, and some guys did comment because they were in Texas and they're like, and you don't even remember half the stuff because it's like the most random stuff. It's like you said, it might be boilers and other things that like I don't see. And then it's like business questions and like these weird like n- a small percentage of it is actually like what I do, refrigeration. We've been here over an hour. I don't want to keep you too long. I know your kid. Is
Yeah,
she the
nothing to do.
is she still there?
No, she disappeared.
Oh, okay. I don't want to keep you too long anyway. I appreciate you for coming on the show and kind of telling your story. You were recommended in our HVAC Nights group. I know from one of the streams, and that's how I found your channel.
I talked about my poop video.
Oh, that was a great video. Thanks for your contribution.
The the what's weird is poop gets views because my if you look at my other TikTok, it's outdoor roads. I
Okay,
put one on there and it's got over 1 million views on that one.
on something similar.
It's yeah, well, it's a little more disgusting, but yeah, it's like yeah,
Yeah.
but
Well,
it's poop gets views for some reason. I don't understand why.
I'm still trying to figure that out. I
I
get
don't know how it got 60,000. I'm like I have no clue.
on the HVAC one, right?
Yeah, on the HVAC one.
Yeah, because I remember seeing it and I'm like, oh damn. But yeah, I guess it gets views. I will never understand TikTok and the algorithm on that stuff. It's super random. Um
You make a good video in a month, you'll still only have 100 views, and then you make the dumbest thing ever, and you'll have more views than you can think of.
I've had to, yeah, change kind of the way I think about it because I used to put too much effort into those kinds of videos. I'm like, those do the worst. It's just the random stuff you post, the little quick videos, record on your phone, unedited, like those do well. It's just the way it is.
That also is another thing. I try to keep my YouTube videos lower than like Kurt's, not 40 minutes, like 10 minutes or something. So it keeps you entertained or
Yeah,
something, or
Kurt
keeps you.
Kurt is a whole different thing because we
His
talk.
stuff's good,
Yeah.
but when I watch his struggle, I'm like, oh, I gotta fast forward it because I don't want to watch him struggle. I just want to watch him fix it. I guess it's when you see someone you like and you see him struggling, you don't want to see him struggling, so I gotta fast forward it through Kurt's stuff.
Yeah, it's
And then Jake's had some pretty entertaining stuff,
we're trying to get him
but
to post more. That's the only thing.
yeah.
But
Well, I think he wants it more perfect editing. He's not just
oh
throwing a camera up and filming.
yeah, we could talk because he uh he keeps buying cameras. He's like, I want more angles, and he's just about all that. I don't know if you want to close with anything like any advice, what helped you learn, or anything for like the new guys. We can close out on that.
The uh, the number one advice I always give new guys is ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions, but no, ask questions. Like literally, I don't even care if it's what we're related to. If it's something that pops up in your mind and it's related to HVAC, ask it. Like that's the only way to learn because I didn't have that luxury when I was doing it, and I wish I did.
Yeah,
I
that's
still
true.
ask questions. Like I even now, I still ask questions, but you can't be afraid to ask them.
I did not like asking questions when I started, and I struggled a lot. When I figured out that I could ask questions, it helped tremendously. So yes, always ask questions. Don't be afraid. Don't because like nobody likes to look stupid or sound stupid, but if you don't know something, you just don't know something. So like you said, ask
Well,
questions.
people will trick you too. They'll go tell you to get the pipe stretcher, and there's no such thing.
Oh, you
So
had
you'll go
a
to the van looking for it instead of no. They never worked with me because I was never scared to ask questions. So once they go get a pipe stretcher, I'll be like, "What's a pipe stretcher?" And then they'll all laugh. But like, yeah, they'll get you. That's why.
well. Thanks again. I appreciate it. Taking the time out of your day and joining us here.
Well, thank you. It was good talking to you and actually meeting you.
Yeah, man. Love the stuff. Keep it up. And everybody watching and listening, I appreciate you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.